Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Day by Day. Today's the 21st of August. Hope you're doing well. The web store thing is being goofy tonight for whatever reason. Oh well. We will deal with it eventually. But, we gotta get on with our stuff for today. So, what we're doing is what we've been doing, and that is working on these last 3 characters that we need for Leia. Had a pretty good day. I'm curious what tomorrow will bring. I don't know. A little bit, maybe a lot. I gotta tell you, having to do these raids is getting to me. It's the whole thing with I understand why people leave this game and why they give up and why they're just like, I can't do it, and why, because it's like between this and 50 battles, 12. Between this and the whole thing where you gotta just keep getting stuff. Between the raid and the whatever it is, it's a bit much. It just is. It's a bit much. And it's annoying as crap. Raid and TB and then TW and then Conquest. I've done it really well. I really think I've done it well. I think I continue to do it really well. Maybe not at the highest level because mods are soul crushing. Because you've got people who are like, oh. People just talk about mods. It's like, how much money and how much time do you have? Because I feel like when people talk about mods, they're just like, people do this one thing where they just take the one team and they just build it super high. They work on relics and then they work on mods, or maybe they work on mods first before they get to relics. And it's like, that's great if you have all the time and all the resources, but it's like, if you're free to play, which, let's face it, I've not spent money in this game for months. And as I talked about yesterday, I have no interest in spending the money in this game anytime soon. And honestly, I don't foresee that changing unless that could change. In a couple of ways. One, I could potentially be spending money if they bring the Andor faction, from season 2. Clea and just everybody into the thing. And they made them as good as, hey, we won JC, by the way. Because I don't know. I kind of feel like with the introduction of Vane, which he's not farmable, he's not whateverable, but he's in the game. And I didn't do the thing for Brutus. I thought I did. I swear I did, but I guess I didn't. But it's like, I think he was the one that everybody was waiting for to see how good this potentially. And I was, you know, if you were talking to me about Tank, I would think it would be Brutus, but Vane is fine. But I mean, Captain Swgoh is going to make this. I mean, this team is going to, it's highly, I mean, honestly, they had to give this team this catch because I don't know, but I mean, who was excited when they heard they were bringing pirates? And of course, you know, most pirates are thought are bad. And they are, unless it's Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner. Rip DSA. But I mean, it's like there's a niche. Like I keep talking about. I mean, I don't keep talking about it. It's been a while since I've talked about it. But my love for Mara Jade, right? Mara Jade comes out of a novel called, you know, the trilogy, and then she goes on to have her own adventures. And it's really interesting that they've chosen to do this the way they've chosen to do it, and that is not bring her into canon. Does that look good? Yeah, that looks fine. Not to bring her into canon. But they brought Thrawn in, and they've, you know, originally Thrawn only existed in 3 novels originally. And that was Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and then The Last Command. I had to think about the last one there for a second, by the way. And then he died. Mara originally was the one that went on to have the longevity. Now that's not to say they couldn't have Timothy Zahn write a novel for Mara Jade, where she has all these villages and she gets this backstory treatment, sort of like Thrawn did. There's a way they could do it, and I keep dancing around this idea, and I keep coming back to it because it makes all the sense in the world. Because I saw a report today that in some prominent I don't know what you would call it, people on YouTube retweeted it. And it was Disney is looking for another property to buy because of how young men are viewing the lackluster performances of the MCU and Star Wars. Which Disney is the reason why they have this lackluster performance on this. And there's no real way, there's no way around that. Disney is the reason why, whether it's Disney, Star Wars, or what, they're responsible for the way these movies have been rolled out and the reception. It's not men and boys. It's the storytelling. And there's a way that you could, even with all they have with canon, with the First Order and Rise of Skywalker and all this, there's a way. I mean, granted, I didn't watch The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker because, but there's a way that you could bring Mara Jade in to either the Mandoverse timeline, which is between Jedi and The Force Awakens, or put her after The Rise of Skywalker. But they don't want to seem to do that. And they've painted themselves in the picture, which I think is interesting because, Star Trek has went and decanonized Discovery, and obviously, but it's just, nothing has to be as hard as as hard as things make it. You spent a light speed token on veteran smuggler Chewbacca. Okay. I mean, I guess if you want to, but I don't know. Seems a little strange. But I mean, the only reason why they're struggling with men is because they have this. And they painted themselves into the corner. Like I said, it's like it never had to be this way. And they could still correct it, but they don't want to. And they're doing it by choice. And I don't think it's going to go well. I don't. Because what property would or could they theoretically purchase that would get them what they want to do? Because they're just going to, I don't know what you think of James Gunn, but Warner Brothers gave the dude a blank check despite, in lieu of the reception that Superman got. And they're like, okay, go do the thing. And so, James Gunn, despite what you may think of him, he did a pretty remarkable job with an unknown franchise by many people. Before Chris Pratt, Dave Bautista, Zoe Saldana, and Bradley Cooper, and Vin Diesel made the Guardians of the Galaxy known to everybody. James Gunn took that comic, which was pretty obscure, and elevated it. And, he's, obviously he did his thing with Superman. And, I guess Supergirl is supposed to come out next year. And then we'll have to see after that. But it's like, I want to know what your opinion is. What do you think is possible that Disney could acquire to fill that niche that they want to do to bring men back in. And I think it's really easy. I think just write a good script. And, I know they have other issues with all the things, but you can make that go away if you want to. And it's just a willingness to change direction and give people actually what they want instead of what you think they want. Anyway, let me know what you think. Appreciate the time. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. As always, God bless, hold the line. Remember that I have friends everywhere. Bye.